The markets are currently gapping below a really important bull threshold. Nvidia hit a very important trend line this past week and got rejected. And these options are starting to tell us a story that's looking a little bit more bearish. It's going to be a very interesting week this week, my friends. Let's dive into these charts so that you can be more prepared for this trading week ahead. What is up, everyone? My name is Tony with Real Life Trading. I have been a full-time trader for over 7 years, and every Monday I make a video walking you through my game plan of what I'm planning on doing this week and what I am seeing so that you can be better prepared and make more money in these markets. So let's start here with SPY. So SPY has made a huge run up. It is extremely strong, and we are expecting some type of pullback to come. But at the moment, I think we're just getting a pullback with time, meaning it's just going sideways. Whenever the markets make large moves, they need to rest. They can rest by putting in a pennant pattern. They can rest by kind of just pulling back. They can rest by going sideways in other ways as well. But that's currently what I think is going on right now. But have we broken some super important structure? I think yes. SPY has put in a really nice trend line through here. We have gapped that on Friday. That trend line retest ended up being the high. And now we are gapping down again. Could this finally be breaking out of this sideways movement? Yes, very much so. And if we look at the options that are starting to roll in here for this week, 610 strike puts are starting to get a massive amount of open interest sitting out there for this Friday. So that's telling me this is most likely where these markets are going to want to work their way towards, would be this 610 level. Now 630 on the top side is still acting as a huge resistance. So if the bulls continue to hold and we bounce up, I'm keeping an eye out for 630 this week for sure, because that's where our bears should be. But our bulls should be sitting right around 610. So what's going to trigger me to think that the markets are actually going to pull back? Well, first things first, again, that trend line is pretty weak, but we've got to get through this 10 EMA. If we can get through this 10 EMA here on a daily and this support and do it strongly on a strong daily candle close, I believe then bounces are going to be met by more selling and actually push us lower. The line in the sand for me right now is sitting around 620 on SPY. If we can get through 620, which has been a very strong support, and you can see right here, this used to be a short-term little resistance as well around 619. But if we can get through that area, now the door is open and we should be finally getting some pullbacks in this market. If we put in another candle that looks like this, where we break lower and it gets bought up, we're still stuck sideways, but that's also potentially going to open that door and push us up into that 630 mark. So for the bull scenario, which, by the way, this market is extremely bullish, I would want to see a daily close up above 626. 626 was a huge option level for last week. 630 is now the huge option level for this week. And so there is a little bit more cushion to run higher if it wants to. But man, these bulls really need to start stepping in and closing strong above 626. Again, this was my first little warning sign that things could be a little off. We claimed new ground and it didn't close above it. Immediately gapping down on Friday. Kind of chopped around on Friday. Nothing too bad, nothing too good for the bulls, just hanging out. This follow-through gap down now is pretty bearish. Again, overall sentiment is bullish. So this is either just going to open the door for a buy the dip scenario, or it's going to trap and just continue to get bought up and this bull train continues. I'm going to be watching this very, very closely, my friends. You've got to sit back and just let the market show you its hand a lot of the times. If you're trying to guess like, oh my gosh, this is super bearish and we're going to drop. Well, maybe. I've got to get some closures below 620, 619 on a daily time frame. Now that window is open. If we get below that and it starts to get bought up, there's actually a really good chance this is going to start squeezing some bears out and we keep on running higher, at least into the next bear areas where we'll see how strong the bears actually step in. But yes, if we do get a close below 620 on a daily time frame, that opens the door for a retest back into the all-time high support. So that is my next area that I'm really watching right now, is around 614 to 610. Remember, 610 is where all those puts are sitting. It looks very, very likely that bulls will be in this area and will push us higher. I like that area a lot. I think it's really good. Worst case scenario right now is probably a move back into 600. I doubt that happens, but it's possible. We'll see what happens with tariffs and everything else. But if we do end up breaking these levels here on SPY, look for 610 to 614 to be where the bulls are at. If the bulls do not step in this area, 600 is going to be the most likely area over the next few weeks. Now, July tends to be extremely bullish. That's why I'm expecting some short-term dips, if anything at all, and some more bouncing. Realistically, though, until we get those close below 620, expect bulls to be in here on the 10 EMA and probably continuing to push us higher. If we don't close up above 626, it's just going to continue out with more and more chop. We've done this a lot. We've made huge moves up and it kind of just chops and then it bounces. And we've made huge moves up and it kind of just chops and then it bounces. So I wouldn't be shocked really for that pattern to continue. But just so you know, this is a very much a profit-taking area. If we start to make moves higher, I think we're pretty close to being ready for a pullback, at least on a weekly time frame. So I don't really love the buy through here just because I'm not sure how sustained of a bounce it's going to be, but time will tell. Closures will tell. Let the markets show me their hand. I just know they're pretty dang extended, and there's a good chance that bounces are going to be met by some more selling and probably just getting the last amount of FOMO traders in there before it pulls back lower. The biggest piece of advice I can give you in your trading right now is to understand what the markets are doing before you trade. Most people show up and they try to make money and they try to just click buttons and they're like, it's bullish, it's bearish, it's bullish, and you just go all over the place. Mark out the levels that are important to pay attention to. In this case, it's very simple. 626, 620. Trade off of those levels. This is where the easier trading's at. Everything else gets really tough because it's not clear. If you're struggling in trading, check out the links below. We are currently giving away our top trading courses completely for free for the first 100 people that click those links down below. We will most likely renew this every week. And so if you miss out on this, you've got to wait till next Monday and we'll release it again. But jump on it quick. Hopefully you can grab those free courses, learn how to trade, and improve your profits. Those courses have helped thousands of people change their trading around. It's going to help you as well, so jump on that. Let's dive into Nvidia. Nvidia has hit a huge trend line up here on the top side of this channel, and it rejected off of it perfectly. So now what's next? Well, if we were to zoom out to a weekly time frame, Nvidia has made a strong move up, but we've also closed strongly across a big resistance level. So now I'm looking for 150 to be a very nice bouncing spot for these bulls. So will that actually come into play? Are we going to be getting any type of selling in this market? I don't know. Nvidia could be starting into some type of resting sideways pattern. Nvidia could continue higher because, again, as you saw over here, we also have a big weekly trend line that we have not interacted with yet in a long time that's just up above us. So if this party wants to continue, it can get there. But I'd be looking personally for around 175 to 180 to be a pretty good selling spot for Nvidia and for it to start some triggers back lower into that 150 mark. Right now, though, this is not looking very strong, and it is very extended, which means it just needs a pullback before it can gain some more strength and probably push into that 175 mark. So look for 150 to be an amazing buying spot. Short term right now, 160 is going to be the testing spot for the bulls. That would be my sentiment level to watch for the next few days. If we do start pulling back into 160 and the bulls step back in, it's most likely going to S-curve and continue higher. If the bulls really struggle at 160, that opens the door now for further selling, and that could be where this 150 to 145 area comes into play. So this is going to be the key area right here at 160 to show you what to do. If the bulls step in hard here, keep that bull momentum, day trade it, swing trade it. That's what I'll be at least looking at doing all the way up into target around 175. If we just continue sideways, I'd be leaning a little bit more bullish up into that 175 mark. And so I would probably just day trade this bullish at this point because it's extended. A dip is going to give me a much better risk reward for swing trades. But if I don't get a dip, I want to just kind of get in and out on some day trades, take that momentum up to 175 area, and then leave it alone from there. So if it does dip back down, watch this level. This could be a pretty good buy the dip, bounce it out. If it doesn't bounce here, everyone can do their best to lose small. It'll push back into this 150 to 145. This is where I believe a very strong buying level is at. So if you don't have a ton of time to trade, or you really would rather just choose the consistency over the amount of trades, I would wait for 150. It could happen in a couple days. It could happen in a month and a half. But this level, in my opinion, is a high probability that we will be interacted with decently soon. It's just when. So if you can be patient enough to avoid all of this, yes, you could miss out on some profits, but you're also going to miss out on some potential losers as well, because up here is tougher to trade. Let it come into the easy spot to trade. This is a great buy the dip, in my opinion, for now, and should take us back up into that 175 to 180 mark for our final profit target over here on Nvidia. Make sure and check out those links down below. Be the first 100 people in so you can get your free trading courses to teach you how to swing trade, day trade, navigate the markets. We have trading courses for beginners and trading courses all the way for advanced traders that have been trading for a little bit but are struggling to see consistent profits. We're giving away free courses for you all. So click the link down below, check out those courses, come join us over at Real Life Trading, and I'll see you next week.